The soldier will conduct himself in a sensible and safe manner in all his actions. That stems from the recognition of the highest importance of the value of human life. In a time of battle, he will endanger himself and his friends in the required manner to carry out this mission.
My name is Karen. I served in the IDF as a psychotechnical diagnostician. Basically what my job was is to interview the boys before they go into the army and to do personality testing in order to decide who can be a combat soldier, who needs to go through the mental health department, and many other decisions.
My name is Liran. I was a paratrooper in the IDF, the 101st Airborne Division. I was one of what you'd consider a lone soldier, a person that left their family and went to serve in the IDF. My background is that my family is actually South African, and we moved to America in the aftermath of September 11th.
My name is Tamir. I'm 27 years old. I served in the COGAT unit. COGAT is the Coordinator of Government Activities at the Territories, which is basically the humanitarian unit. It was really important for every officer and every soldier in my unit to understand the value of life, and I think in every soldier in the IDF.
When someone shows during those personality testings and interview problematic views or violent views, those people are being transferred to further assessment by the IDF, and if it's radical, even by other formal bodies in Israel. And it's important to understand because it doesn't matter how much you or your family have suffered from the ongoing conflict, because the IDF has no tolerance to this kind of opinions.
So they break you all down to your fundamentals and then build you up as a unit, together, as a team, so that we no longer identify as myself or as yourself as Jewish or Christian or Muslim or whatever. We're a team. We're a unit. We're brothers in arms. You have to be able to save a life before you can take a life.
When we're talking about using a weapon in the IDF, it's very important to know exactly what and how are you going to use the weapon and when. It's very crucial because sometimes you're in a life-threatening position and you really need to know if you want to shoot now, if you need to shoot now, if it's life-risking or it's not. So the procedure of shooting someone or doing the procedure of shooting is going to be, first you need to warn the suspect in Hebrew, in Arabic, and after that, if you're not complying, you need to shoot in the air. And if it's not complying and it's going towards you, you need to shoot in the knees. And if it's not still moving on, then you're trying to shoot in the center mass. And only then someone will get hurt.
So we'll go through different sessions where we all sit together and our commanders will engage us in a discussion on what it means to be a soldier, what that means, the importance of human life, what does it mean to you, and we'll discuss it, and then all together kind of understand it. We're forced to think about it, and we're forced to face these ideas head on, and come to realizations and grow, intellectually and spiritually and in every way possible, grow our character, because it's so important to what it means to be an IDF soldier.
I'm not like a super warrior or Superman. No, I'm not. I'm just a human being. And it's hard. And during that time, I know that I'm scared, but the people that need help, those Palestinians, for example, that were in the checkpoint, they're also scared. They're not like, again, they're also not Superman. And it was really, you need to conquer your fear in order to help the others. And you know that you need to help them, because you don't want to hurt anyone that doesn't want to hurt you. You know that you can trust them and you want to do something to save their life, make their life a little bit easier.
Every time before we enter an interview with some guy, we get all the data that we have about him, the data from the police and from school. And I remember before starting the interview with this guy, everything looked very normal. He didn't have anything that looked bad or suspicious. But continuing the interview, I noticed that this guy is mentioning again and again that it's very important to him, the interaction with the enemy. And he wanted to be in the border patrol. And this, with many other comments that he said, made me think that this guy don't have pure intentions.
We were protecting that area. We caught a lot of cocktail attackers, we caught knife attackers, we caught stone throwers. Oftentimes they were teenagers, they were 14 years old, and that in itself is an ethical, conundrum. Because what if this person continues to approach the freeway and harm civilians, or approaches you and puts your life at danger? Are you going to shoot a 14-year-old? And then what will the world say about that? That an armed soldier shot a 14-year-old that was throwing stones. But any stone that's thrown at that highway could penetrate a windshield and kill someone. And their lives comes before ours. And the really interesting part, all right, is, okay, now we have these, we've captured them, all right? We've captured the enemy that's harming us, harming civilians, whatever it is. What do we do with them from there? They're our prisoners. We'd handcuff them, blindfold them so that they couldn't pass on information, possibly once they're released, if they're released, whatever it is, and we take them to our base, all right? And they're under our responsibility. Even though these guys, many of them had tried to kill us, had tried to kill others, hated us, cursed us, whatever it was, fought against us, we would treat them with the utmost respect. We would sit them down in a room, and many times, we would feed them 3 times a day, and I would sit there and spoon feed them. We couldn't cut their binds, but I would sit there and spoon feed them and ask them, do you want more? Yeah, okay, and keep spoon feeding them. And think of that dynamic where this person tried to kill you, you captured them, they're sitting here under your command, and you're here spoon feeding them. Every day I was learning Arabic and I was conversing, and I became known as the American soldier, and people really liked me, and I would just ask them, there's a very soccer-centered culture. Everyone loves soccer in that area. So, and I'm a soccer player and I love soccer, so I would kind of bond with them over that. We'd talk about Manchester United and Barcelona, Real Madrid, and we'd talk about the best players, Cristiano Ronaldo, and just talk soccer and bond. And I developed a rapport with a lot of people that I would see, coming through every day and keeping the peace and stopping the kids from fighting, Israeli kids and Palestinian kids. And then one day we were manning the security check post, and people, they would have to come through and get scanned by an X-ray scanner to make sure that there's no weapons or anything. They're not allowed to bring weapons from one area to another. And it was always just very routine, just wave them through. If a pregnant woman came through and didn't want to, we would bring her on the side so she didn't have to. Always look inside the bags to make sure there's no weapon inside. Until one day, so everything was very routine, and I was working this checkpoint with my Ethiopian commander. And one day, one of the kids that, it was a 14-year-old kid that I'd conversed with many times about soccer, he came and he tried to stab me. And we stopped him and we put him on the ground and arrested him. But in that moment, he came from behind my back. And in that moment, my whole, everything was shattered. From that day on, I realized that as a Westerner coming in, seeing the whole conflict from the outside, and trying and rationally saying, if I just lead by example, if I do good, if I show them that we're good guys, then everything will be good. I understood that's not the case. There's things that I don't understand, having not grown up in this area, in this region of the world.
I remember there was a suicide bomber that attacked the city park, a place where all the seniors of the city got together, and he just saw it as an easy target. He exploded himself, and he killed 2 citizens of the city, and I was shocked. Like, it was a block from my building. I couldn't understand what's going on around me. I was 14 years old, and I remember talking to my mom, and I asked them, why are they doing this to us? Like, what's going on? And why are they killing us? And she said to me, it's not they as a people. No, it's not they. It's not the Arabs. It's not the Palestinians. But it's those terrorist organizations, Hamas, Jihad Islam, that put the Israeli civilians as a target in order to terrorize the society, in order to terrorize the government. And that incident really made me think about the other side. What's going on? Why are they acting like this? What's going on over there in the West Bank and in Gaza? And that was one of the reasons that I decided to join the COGET unit, the humanitarian unit, because I really wanted to see how's life over there.
In the south, which is very close to the Gaza border, people have a very short time when since they hear the siren till they need to get to a shelter. My friend and I were assigned to one of the kindergarten in Beersheba, which is a city in the south. In Beersheba, we had 30 seconds to find our way to a protected area. And one of the things that I remember is that what we've been told to do is to check that every time we hear a siren, to check that the playground is clear of children, and of course to bring them with us to the shelter. And once when a siren went off, we were sitting and playing with the kids, and one of the girls were sitting on my friend's lap. And when she heard the siren, it's very loud and scary, she peed her pants. We couldn't really deal with it in that second because we had to take her to a shelter. But I remember that afterward, we were talking with the kindergarten teacher, and we asked her if she knows about this problem, because they weren't 2 years old, they were about to go to first grade. They've been potty trained for years. And what was hard for me is that the kindergarten teacher wasn't surprised, because she lives in the South and she's been with those children in this reality for a long time now. And she knows that that's what happened living in this stress. The thing that I remember is thinking to myself that if this is something I can see, I can really tell that this girl has now a problem, that all this situation has a very hard influence on her. So I remember thinking, what's going on with the other kids? What happens with their souls, with the things that I can't see?
It's a big deal because of what we're seeing in America with law enforcement. I work with law enforcement, and they're amazing people, completely amazing people. But the protocols in line for them, because it's so hard to shoot for extremities, to shoot for legs, it's a lot harder than shooting center mass. And so their protocols they've been trained to shoot center mass because there's less of a chance that you miss, right? But for me, that's why the emphasis is different. Whereas in IDF, we have such a high importance for human life that we will risk being shot first just so that we shoot them in the legs, right? And it's a big deal.